Chapter 5, The Night We Forgot to Lie. Engagement parties are supposed to be celebrations, toasts, pearls, curated joy. But when your host is Adrian Vale, Lucian's childhood rival and the man who's been quietly trying to sink his company for 2 fiscal quarters, the champagne is laced with poison, and every compliment is a dagger in disguise. We arrive late. Lucian does it on purpose. He steps out of the car like he's walking into war, hands slipping into mine with practiced ease. His touch is cool, distant, but steady. Always steady. "You look lethal," I murmur as we approach the entrance. "You look like a secret I'd kill to keep," he replies without glancing at me. And just like that, we're a perfect picture again. 2 people who belong to each other on the outside. Inside, it's all opulence and ambition. Glass chandeliers, gold thread in every napkin, guests who wear power like perfume. Lucien knows most of them. So do I, by reputation. CEOs, politicians, heir apparents. Adrian greets us with a smile that doesn't touch his eyes. "Lucien," he says smoothly, "I was beginning to think you'd lost your taste for social blood sport." "Only the tasteless kind," Lucien replies, "but I heard you were hosting." Their handshake is brief, firm, threatening. Adrian turns to me. "And this must be the mysterious fiancée. I'll admit, you're not what I expected." I smile sweetly. "That's the point." He blinks. Just once, then laughs. "Lucien, I see she's learned your style already." "She has her own," Lucien says quietly. "Much better than mine. It's subtle, but it's there. The way he shields me, without caging me. I don't know when I started noticing things like that, or when they started mattering." Later, someone insists we dance. It's a show, of course. Everything is. The room is full of eyes. Hungry ones. Lucien leads me onto the floor with all the grace of a man who'd rather be anywhere else. "I don't dance with enemies," he mutters under his breath. "Then you shouldn't have picked this song." The music is slow, classical, rich and aching with elegance. Our hands fit like we've done this 100 times. We haven't. His touch is light at my waist, but my skin remembers it long after it should. My heart beats louder than the orchestra. "This is all pretend," I whisper, mostly to remind myself. Lucien's eyes don't leave mine. "Is it?" He spins me, catches me, holds me too long, too right. The moment fractures, someone bumps into us, laughter too loud, the spell broken. But something lingers, something dangerous. We don't make it get home. The sky opens up somewhere between the Vale estate and the Blackthorn car. Rain slashes down in sheets and traffic halts on the winding hill road. Flash flood warnings flicker to life on Lucien's phone. His jaw clenches. "There's a small inn a mile back," he says. "We'll wait it out." The walk is miserable. We're soaked in seconds, designer clothes plastered to skin. My shoes sink in the mud. He curses under his breath when I stumble, then lifts me, without a word, carrying me the last stretch like it's nothing. We reach the inn, drenched and breathless. They give us a fireplace suite, the last one available, the concierge says. Of course it is. The fire is already crackling. Warm, orange gold light dances across wood-paneled walls. Lucien peels off his wet blazer, then his shirt. I turn away, too quickly. "Bathroom's yours?" he offers, his voice lower than usual. I take it. When I return in one of his button-downs and a borrowed blanket, he's on the rug by the fire, shirtless, a glass of whiskey in hand. He doesn't look up. "I hated the piano for a year after Samuel died," he says quietly. I freeze. He takes a sip, doesn't stop. "My mother used to say the house felt haunted. After the funeral, every corner echoed. I started playing again just to drown out the silence." He sets the glass down. The firelight catches the edge of his profile. He looks older and younger. I kept thinking, if I had just paid more attention, if I had seen what was coming, maybe none of it would have happened. I kneel beside him, slowly. "Grief makes us rewrite everything," I say. His eyes meet mine, and for once there's no mask, no villain, no cold tycoon, just a man who's been alone too long. Our hands brush on the rug. Neither of us pulls away. "I don't know why I'm telling you this," he says. "Maybe because I'm the only one who's not trying to use it against you." He looks at me for a long, long time. Then he leans in. The kiss is soft, tentative, like neither of us trusts it, or maybe like we trust it too much. It tastes like everything we've avoided saying, and ends too soon. He pulls back first, breathing unsteady. "This changes nothing," he says, but the look in his eyes betrays him, because we both know it changes everything. Chapter 6, Fractures and Flames. It started with a dress, champagne-colored silk, floor length, cut just sharp enough to be considered scandalous at the Blackthorn charity banquet. I wore it because Lucien picked it. "You look like you own the room," he'd said in a rare moment of honesty. I wish I'd known what was coming. I might have worn armor instead. The ballroom was crawling with cameras, old money families, and curated smiles. Every conversation was a power play, every toast a threat. Lucien stayed near me, hand on my lower back, all charm and perfectly timed arrogance, until she arrived. Tall, raven-haired, eyes like polished glass, cold and catching everything. She moved toward us with the kind of ease only someone very rich or very dangerous could manage. "Lucien," she said, her voice velvet and venom, "you're not returning my calls." The world stopped. Lucien's arm tensed under my touch. "Marianne," he said, no warmth, no explanation. She turned to me. "You must be the stand-in, the placeholder." She extended her hand like a queen to a peasant. "Marianne Leclerc, Lucien's real fiancée, though I assume you didn't know that part of the story." The air went out of the room. I froze. "What are you talking about?" Lucien said nothing, did nothing. He just stood there, cold, distant, and silent. "Don't feel bad," Marianne purred. "It's business. Lucien's always had a brilliant mind for misdirection. You were just part of the rebranding." She smiled like she'd already won. And maybe she had. Because when I looked at Lucien, the man who kissed me like I was the last soft thing in his world, he didn't deny it, didn't say my name, didn't say anything. Something cracked inside me. Sharp, irreparable. So I turned and walked. I didn't know where I was going, just away, out of the ballroom, out of the estate, into the night. Rain met me halfway, cold and slicing. But I didn't run. I needed to feel it, the sting, the humiliation, the bitter ache of being the only one who thought it meant something. I ended up on the edge of the Blackthorn Lake, shoes in one hand, dress soaked and clinging to me like regret. And that's when I heard him, footsteps behind me. I didn't turn, but I felt him stop, standing just far enough away to mean nothing. Lucien, soaked, silent. I waited. 1 second, 2, 3. "Say something," I whispered. He didn't. Not a word. Just breathing, shallow, uneven. And then I laughed. Sharp, hollow. You know what the worst part is? I knew this wasn't real. I told myself over and over, don't fall, don't believe it, don't hope, and I still let you in. I still chose you. My voice broke. I hated that. But you chose her. Or worse, you chose silence. And that tells me everything. He stepped closer. I stepped back. "Don't," I said. "Don't follow me unless you're going to say something real." But he didn't. So I walked, and this time I didn't look back. Lucien didn't go home that night. He went to an office most people didn't know existed, an off-the-books penthouse on the east side of the city. No press, no servants, no security detail. Just him. And a file. Marianne Leclerc's. He opened it. Reviewed every contract, every clause, every secret she'd ever used to keep a grip on his empire. His hands were steady now, cold, decisive. He picked up the phone. "Harlan," he said to his private legal enforcer, the one who never asked questions. It's time. Terminate every agreement, pay whatever penalty it costs, burn the bridge. And Harlan, make sure she knows it's personal." Chapter 7, The Truth About Villains. I didn't expect to see his face on the front page again. Blackthorn engagement scandal. A lover, a lie, and a fall from grace. My picture was there too, framed between glossy headlines and paparazzi flash. They dug up the whole thing. The scholarship debacle, my family's quiet bankruptcy, my father's embezzlement case. Sealed, hidden behind NDAs and hush money. Until now, until someone leaked it, until someone wanted me broken. And suddenly, it wasn't about Lucien's silence. It was about mine. "You need to see this," Naomi said, shoving the tablet into my hands before I'd finished my coffee. Her eyes were wild, furious. "I know who gave it to the press. Marianne." "Man," I stared at the screen, at my past weaponized against me. Naomi continued. "She had the files, sealed court records, old dorm disciplinary actions that never even made it into university archives. She dug, and she used it." I swallowed the sick twist rising in my throat. "Why now?" Naomi looked at me like the answer was obvious. Because Lucien cut her off, publicly, legally. She had nothing left to hold over him, so she turned to you. Lucien had known. He'd known all of it, and said nothing, but not to protect himself, to protect me. I found him where I shouldn't have, the old conservatory above Blackthorn Tower, the one he only went to when the world got too loud and too sharp. He was alone, sleeves rolled to his elbows, hands on the grand piano's edge like he needed something to anchor him. He didn't turn when I came in. "I saw the article," I said quietly. Still, he didn't look at me. "You knew, didn't you?" Silence. "You knew what she had, what she could do, and you let me think you betrayed me instead of telling me the truth." Finally, he turned, and he looked wrecked. Like sleep hadn't touched him in days, like silence had turned into punishment, like guilt had eaten everything. "I did it to protect you. You let her humiliate me. Because if I'd answered her, if I'd fought her then, she would have unleashed everything in front of that room. Your story, your family, your shame, and you weren't ready for that. You don't get to decide what I'm ready for." I stepped closer, voice shaking now. "You don't get to claim you're protecting me when you've been pushing me away since the day we signed the damn contract." His jaw tightened, his breath hitched. "Why, Lucien? Why do you keep doing this, saying it's fake while looking at me like it's not, acting like you don't care when I know you do? What are you so afraid of?" His hands curled into fists. "You want to know what I'm afraid of? Tell me." His voice broke. "Because I don't survive people. I destroy them." That silenced everything. He stepped toward me now, eyes burning, voice low and hoarse. "My mother drank herself into silence. Every person I've let close has ended up worse because of me." He looked down at his hands like they were weapons. "And then there was you." My breath caught. "You walked into my life like some bright, defiant mistake. You made everything messy. You made me want things again." He exhaled hard, and somewhere between the lies and the silence and that night by the fire, I fell in love with you. My heart slammed against my ribs, and I hate myself for it, because you were never supposed to matter. I moved to him, trembling, and yet, here you are. He looked at me then, completely unguarded for the first time. No mask, no villain, just a man ruined by love and terrified of what it makes him capable of. "I love you," he whispered. "I don't know how to stop." I reached for him, slowly. My fingers traced the edge of his hand. He didn't flinch this time, didn't pull away. He let me hold him, like maybe it wouldn't break everything. And then the door slammed open. Naomi, pale, breathless. "You need to come downstairs," she said, voice shaking. "Now." Lucien's expression snapped into steel. "What is it?" She hesitated, and then dropped the words like a knife. "Samuel's not dead." Chapter 8, More Than Pretend. The news broke quietly, like a secret whispered into a storm. Samuel Blackthorne was alive. Not dead, not buried, not lost to the twisted wreckage of that car accident over a decade ago. Alive, and sitting across from Lucien in his private study like a ghost come back to collect. I stood just outside the door, half hidden in the shadows, hearing everything. "I buried you," Lucien said, voice hollow. "You buried a body," Samuel replied evenly, "but not mine." Lucien didn't move, didn't speak. I don't think he could. The older man's voice held no remorse. "Faking my death was the only way to keep the board off my back. I warned you about what this world does to loyalty, but you insisted on playing the hero." Lucien's jaw clenched. "You left me to take the fall." "You survived, didn't you?" Samuel said. "Better than I expected." And then he turned his eyes on me. So calm, so calculating. "You're the girl in all the papers, the fake fiancée." A small smile tugged at his lips. "Not so fake anymore, if the gossip's right." Lucien stood so suddenly the chair scraped the floor. "Don't." Samuel's smile didn't fade. "Still protective, I see." Later that night, Lucien didn't come to bed. I found him downstairs, sitting at the grand piano, untouched, whiskey in hand, the keys silent under his fingers. "He's not back for revenge," he said finally. "He's back for power, leverage, control." "Over what?" "Me." He looked up, eyes tired. "I was the one who leaked the financial cover-up that got him ousted in the first place, after he staged the crash, after he tried to take it all. I exposed him, quietly, discreetly. The board never knew it was me, until now. And he wants to expose that?" I asked. "No," Lucien said. "He wants to own it, to blackmail me into putting him back on the board, to make him relevant again. He knows I care too much about this company's reputation to let the truth come out." "Then let it," I said, stepping closer. "Tell the board, the press, burn it down and rebuild it." "You're not him, Lucien." He gave me a look I couldn't read. Not quite defeat, not quite hope. The next morning, he did it. Lucien held a press conference. He told the truth. About Samuel, the fraud, The cover-up, even his own role in keeping it buried for years, out of shame and fear. He admitted it all, clean, steady, without spin. And then he stepped down from the board. The company wouldn't burn, but it would change. So would he. I waited for him at home, not sure what to expect. When he came in, he looked lighter, still tired, still carrying everything. But for the first time since I met him, Lucien Blackthorne looked like a man who didn't want to be someone else's puppet anymore. "You did it," I said. He gave a small nod. "It's done." And then softer. "The contract's done too." "Everything we agreed on. You're free to go." I swallowed. "And if I don't want to go?" Lucien looked at me, something shifting behind his eyes. "I spent so long building walls, I forgot why I put them up in the first place," he said. "I thought if I followed the rules, if I controlled everything, no one could hurt me the way Samuel did." He stepped closer. "But then you came in like a wrecking ball in heels and ruined all of that. You made it real." He took a breath. "I don't want rules anymore. I want you." My heart stuttered. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a ring box, not sleek, not corporate, a little scuffed, worn from being carried around too long. Inside was a simple gold band, no stones, no spectacle, just us. "I don't need a contract," he said. "I just need to know if you'll stay, not because you have to, because you want to." I took the box from his hand and then I kissed him, slow, deliberate, like an answer. When I finally pulled back, I whispered, "This time, no pretending." Lucien smiled. "This time, no pretending," he echoed. "Just us." Epilogue, the real thing. 1 year later, Blackthorne Estate, Garden Wing. The piano had stopped collecting dust. That was the first sign. The second was Lucien humming to himself while reading the paper. It wasn't a tune I recognized. Something soft, unfinished. But it wasn't mournful anymore. Just thoughtful, reflective, like the sound of a man learning to breathe again. We lived in the West Wing now, far from the cold marble corridors and guarded staircases. The light hit differently here. Windows stayed open, coffee stayed warm, and Lucien's tie collection had been replaced by more sweaters than he'd admit. Naomi called it emotional gentrification. Lucien grumbled but never argued. Progress. Today was quiet. He was in the garden, sleeves rolled, digging around in the flower beds like someone who'd never once threatened to burn a man's world to the ground with a single look. I stood on the steps, watching him. He caught me watching, of course. He always did. "Careful," he said. "I might think you actually like looking at me." I smirked. "I married you. You should hope I still do." His grin was soft, lopsided, and then he wiped dirt on his cheek on purpose, like a child, just to make me roll my eyes. Progress. Inside, the Blackthorne name was still printed on stationery and donation plaques. The business thrived, with Lucien no longer hiding behind it, but leading it differently now. Samuel had vanished after their final confrontation. No one had heard from him since. Occasionally, Naomi checked, quietly. But we didn't talk about it. Not yet. Some ghosts were still settling. That night, Lucien played the piano again, the same song I'd heard him hum. But this time, he didn't stop halfway through. I curled up beside him on the bench, head against his shoulder. He kept playing, and I realized what was different. There was no storm in his music anymore, no grief, no guilt, only the quiet ache of something earned, something that had bled and bruised and survived. When he finished, he didn't say anything. Just looked at me like I was still the most dangerous thing that had ever happened to him, and the only thing he'd never regret. I reached for his hand. He didn't flinch, didn't pull away. I whispered against his skin, "This was never pretend." He looked at me, and this time he smiled. Not like the villain they used to call him, but like the man I'd chosen. "No," he said. "It never was. Stay tuned for what's next. The best is yet to come."